something that actually anybody can do and has an outsized effect on your business. And that one thing is they are obsessed with creating clear and good quality experiences at every step of the journey with their customers. I want to tell you what I mean by that today, because what I've come to believe is that one of the most important ways that you can generate success in your business, and one of the ways that you can actually catalyze all of the employees and partners and everybody who's working on your business. In fact, the way I would think about this is really, it's a multiplying force in your business, is if you can just get really good and really obsessed with making as sure as possible that you are creating experiences for your customers that do a great job, both communicating the promise of your product and then delivering on that promise over time. Now, it is simple in the sense that there is actually nothing hidden about that, right? There's no secret tactic here. All it is really is just listening and caring for your customer's experience deeply, and seeing how they are interested in their own outcomes and how they're interested in getting value out of your brand and out of your product, and then seeking to provide value and communicate how you provide that value to them. There's nothing tricky about that, right? There's nothing about that that's going to make you go like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. You can do that. You can do that no matter where you are in your business, right? But it is not always easy, on the other hand, and there are a bunch of roadblocks along the way. Now, there's a lot of tools that help you do this, but what I think is that this is one of the crucial ways for you to cut through the noise of all the things that are out there. If you think in your mind that the number one way that you are going to get your business from, let's call it $3 million in revenue, $2 million in revenue, to $50 million in revenue, is to keep delivering, to keep clearly communicating the promise of your brand and then delivering on that promise to your customer. If you do that, and if you combine that with baseline financial model, I did an episode recently about what I'd call P&L design. You have a clear sense of where there's financial leverage in your business. Okay, again, you don't have to do every possible little thing along the way, but you just have basic clarity to the financial leverage that your business can create, the basic way your business creates profit, and you see a place where you can do that, and then you obsessively try to make it so that your customer experience can be great. Then I think you will have a lot of success growing your business. If you do not do that, you will get sucked into a million different tactics in a million different directions in ways that end up pulling at your ability for your brand to make profit. And this is what I see happen all the time. This is probably the number one way that this actually doesn't work out for brands. I am a huge fan of D2C Twitter, D2C X, of e-commerce fuel, of my friends at Workspace 6. Like there's these it seems like Andrew Foxwell does a great job with Foxwell Founders. There's these communities out there where people are learning from one another, sometimes paid, sometimes free. There's all this information and admission that I talk about. There's courses, there's my podcast, there's a bunch of podcasts, there's the operators, whatever. If you want to convert more customers off of the ads that you are already paying for, you should be doing it with FERMAT. FERMAT is the best landing page software and service of which I am aware. In fact, it's way more than just landing page software and service. It's custom landing pages, PDPs, custom carts with custom upsells, all the way through the total funnel, so that the experience of the customer from the click on your ad and the angle that you give them there holds true all the way through the funnel. It's the best software I'm aware of. It's the most flexible software. It's incredibly fast loading, easy split testing, and all of it comes with an account manager who will build the landing pages and PDPs for you. Go to fermatcommerce.com/AF to learn more today. So there's a sort of nonstop flow of information, and all of us, every person I've talked to in this who is trying to create content to help other brands grow, is doing that not from a pure mercenary perspective. Like, look, I have sponsors on this podcast. It's definitely one of my revenue streams. I'm not going to be dishonest about that. It's important, but I really do turn on this mic and turn this camera and think to myself, how do I, as clearly as possible, communicate to you in a way that distills the things that I'm seeing across the brands that I'm working with and the other people that I'm talking to in the space, that is going to be translatable for your brand so that you can generate a better business for yourself, right? Like, it's sincere in that respect, right? We're really trying to do that. But there's this problem, and the software providers I know of are doing the same thing. The software providers see something going on in the e-commerce space, and they go, you know what? We could generate software that makes that easier for people. And so there's massive amounts of stuff out there to do these things, but it becomes overwhelming, and it's really hard to filter all of that stuff through. And so this episode is a reminder to you of the core driver of your business's success that I see over and over in these conversations and interviews that I do with different operators and different other folks in the space, with the things that I'm seeing with my clients. I'm just watching over and over as customer obsessed people and customer obsessed operators who build their teams and their brands around how to deliver value to their customers do that. So let me give you a couple examples, okay? So first, there is the actual product level promise, okay? And this is sort of obvious in one respect. Some people will say something oversimplified, like, if you have a great product, you'll win, and that's like the key above everything else. That's not actually totally true, right? I think of a product like Coca-Cola, which is like killing you. So just take cigarette companies, okay, something like that, right? It's not a great product, okay? It's not a great product, and yet those companies for a long time made a lot of money. You can make a lot of money selling garbage. There's no question about that. Your job is probably easier if your product is great, but even that is not always true. So a great product may help, but I think actually even more than a great product per se, it is a product that delivers on the specific promises of the customer in a way that generates value for them. And so in that respect, yeah, it's another way of phrasing the phrase great product. But what I really mean by that is not that your product has to be, unique. Your product has to be groundbreaking or whatever. What I mean is there's a kind of attention that some customers pay, or some operators pay, to how customers are interacting with their products in a way that ends up helping them deliver more deeply on their promises. So like, for example, I saw some reviews of a skincare brand at one point where customers were talking about how they didn't like something about the texture of the way the product was being applied on their skin. And there's a way of approaching that issue where it was a common enough comment in the reviews that there's a way of approaching that issue where you go, some customers are going to have complaints, whatever. There's another way of approaching that issue where it goes like, wait a minute, maybe a huge volume of our customers are having an experience with the product that is not ideal for them, and we need to fix it. We need to make it better so that they have an experience with the product that is great. Now, you have to figure out whether or not that represents a vocal minority or whether or not that's actually a real complaint or whatever. But you might have to go reformulate your product at some point, is what I'm saying, right? If there's something happens, if you're an apparel brand and you get complaint after complaint that your clothes are falling apart fast, you may have to make a decision about whether we charge more for better products or whether we keep things the way they are because, it's just going to happen because we're at a lower price, whatever. But those are decisions you have to decide, make as an operator about your business. But there is a way of receiving that feedback and hearing it loud and clear and becoming obsessed with it at the sort of baseline level of the promise that you're delivering. But then there's a second step of that, which is this example I've been talking about a lot recently, which is to actually start seeing not only the basics of how your product is hitting people, but actually to see the unique ways in which customers are interacting with your product. So I work with a supplement brand, for example, where a bunch of customers are calling out that they had bought this particular supplement for sleep, that they were hoping to sleep better. And even though that wasn't the original reason that the supplement was developed, there was an ingredient in the supplement that had good scientific basis to say it helps your sleep. And so the supplement brand could turn around and say, wait a minute, this means our customers care a lot about sleep. What happens if we go back to the well and we look beyond just this one ingredient and one product that really this wasn't the main reason the supplement was formed, but we actually start thinking about instead, how do we develop products that are going to really help our customers to sleep well? Or maybe they say, hey, take this supplement that already has this in it, and here's how to take it. Here's how to integrate it into your life. Here's how to eat and drink alongside that so that you get the maximum sleep benefit from this. Because of course, there's no magic pill, right? There's these things all work together. Or you could do this a million different ways. And I've watched brands do this where they start to see the unique ways in which customers are operating with their products, and they hear that and they recognize that element of the customer's experience with the product, if that shows up in 3 reviews or 5 reviews, it probably isn't a vocal minority. It's probably actually a larger percentage of people, because people's experiences, while they resonate strongly to themselves, they feel strong to themselves, they actually aren't that unique.